My husband and I own a short-term rental property in Freeport, Texas that made us almost $28,000 in revenue in 2023. As a real estate investor and short-term rental host, I'm here to tell you that there are a lot of different expenses when it comes to maintaining your investment property. And in today's video, I am breaking down all of our 2023 expenses so that you can see why real estate investing is a great way to build wealth. I'm going to share all of the data on how many guests we hosted in 2023, what our total expenses were, our total revenue, and our total profit. I'm also going to share my system on how we keep track of all of our expenses, revenue, profit, and guests so that we know where we stand on any given month. And if we haven't met yet, I'm Stacey Russell, your Northwest Houston realtor, educating buyers, sellers, and investors on all things real estate. A while back, I posted another YouTube video that told the story of how my husband and I became real estate investors and how we have plans to own 1 to 3 more investment properties within the next 5 years. If you missed that video and you want a little bit more information about how we got started, be sure to go and check it out once you finished this video. When you own any property, whether it be an investment property or a primary residence, you are always going to have bills and expenses that go toward utilities and the cost of maintaining the home. So it is your absolute goal as an investor to make sure that you are making enough money in rent to cover all of those expenses and hopefully make some extra money in profit. So we're going to start with the most important component of this entire structure, which is our guests. Without our guests, we would have nobody that is booking our property and we ain't making any money. In 2023, we were lucky enough to have booked 18 reservations that booked us for a total of 196 nights, which puts us just a little bit over the 50% occupancy rate. Our shortest stay was 2 nights and our longest stay was 3 months. Our property actually is in a really unique location because we get tourists and vacationers during the spring, summer, and fall months who want to go to the beach, but we're also really close to a lot of the oil and gas companies who need temporary housing for their employees during training. Because of that, we have been extremely lucky to have fairly consistent business throughout the year. So the breakdown of our expenses for our particular rental property include our mortgage payment, our HELOC interest payment, which I'll talk about more in future videos, utilities like electricity, water, and internet, our lawn maintenance, our quarterly pest control, our Ring subscription for the external camera, professional cleaning services, and any kind of home maintenance that needs to be done throughout the year. So when you add all of those things up, our monthly expenses ranged from $1,756 to $2,909. And total expenses for the year came out to $27,303. So if you're wondering how our monthly expenses can vary so much from month to month, there are a few different reasons for that. When we bought our investment property, Texas had not yet passed the property tax relief bill. So we did not have any kind of appraisal cap for property taxes on that property. When it came time for the annual property tax assessment, our property taxes increased because our home value went up. And because we escrow our property taxes and homeowners insurance into our mortgage payment increased. The increase was about $150 per month, taking us from $1,095 per month to $1,244 per month, and that increase didn't actually take place until August. The second reason is because our monthly expenses are dependent on the number of guests we host and how long those guests stay. When we have guests who book for shorter stays, we accumulate more in cleaning expenses since we have to clean the house, do the laundry, and turn it over before our next guests check in. But when we have guests who book for longer periods of time, it saves us on the cleaning expenses, but we're actually paying more money in utility costs because those guests are staying for longer and using the AC and the water for longer periods of time. And the third reason is because we had some bigger ticket items that needed to be repaired or replaced in order for our guests to have a really great stay. We had to buy a new stove, a new washing machine, and a Lowe's protection plan. We also had to completely replace the subflooring and flooring in the entire home. That is another story for another time, but luckily insurance covered that, so we did not have to pay those expenses out of pocket. It was completely covered. Had insurance not covered it, that would have been an additional $10,000 that would have been tacked on to our expenses for the year, which does not make a good case for what I said earlier about as a landlord, you want to make sure that you are breaking even or making a profit. Okay, so I know that that was a lot of information, but to recap, our total 2023 expenses were $27,303, and our total revenue for 2023 was $28,329, which means that we made a profit of $1,026, which was great news for us. So not only did we make a profit in the short term, but in the long term, we gained a year of equity and more appreciation because our property value continued to go up. And because Texas voters passed the property tax relief bill, we may be able to take advantage of the 20% property tax appraisal cap that is under that bill. And that could potentially help us save money on our property taxes and help our mortgage payments stay more steady. If you make the decision to become a real estate investor or short-term rental host, it's going to be really important for you to treat your business like a business and track all of the data. Tracking your data is really going to help you understand if your investment is making you money or losing you money. I keep track of all of this information on a Google Sheet. I will go in at the bottom and create new tabs for each month of the year, and then I will input data on what our expenses are for the month, how many guests we booked, what platform those guests used to book, because we use both Airbnb and VRBO, what the payout was from those platforms, and then I'm also able to see our revenue and profit. So just like any short-term rental property, you have to understand that there are going to be busy months and there are going to be slow months. And there are definitely months when my husband and I look at all of our data and we kind of panic a little bit because we are not bringing in hardly any revenue for the amount of expenses that we are paying. However, there are months where we have several different reservations for the month, or we have people who book for longer periods of time, like weeks or months. So this increases our monthly profit, and that helps to balance out the other months where we weren't making any money. A great example of this was in January and February of 2023. We were actually having our subfloors and our floors redone in our house, and we weren't able to host any guests. We had a total of $4,041 in expenses for those 2 months, and we had no revenue coming in. But in March, we had a 3-month booking and made $8,478. So this is why it's important for you to track and log your data monthly, quarterly, and yearly to make sure that your investment is working for you. I'm really hoping that 2024 produces the same amount or more in revenue and profit for us, but just like the stock market, the real estate market is cyclical and it goes up and down. I'll definitely be sure to keep you guys in the loop about what's going on with our investment property. And if there is any kind of video topic that you want to learn more about, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. I love to be able to make content for you guys so that it resonates with you and is also very educational and helpful to you. While you're there, take a second to like this video so that YouTube will push it out to more people like you who are interested in becoming real estate investors and short-term rental hosts. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.